The council chamber of the Galactic Federation stretched across 3 kilometers of polished crystal, its walls reflecting the soft blue glow of 1,000 worlds. Representatives from across known space had gathered for what many considered a routine meeting, their various forms creating a tapestry of evolution's creativity. The Zephyrians floated in their containment fields, their gaseous bodies shimmering with internal light. The massive Krontak delegates sat heavily in reinforced chairs, their rocky hides scarred from centuries of warfare. Delicate Veiltar moved like living silk through the air, their thoughts communicated through color patterns across their translucent skin. At the center of it all stood Elder Kethvar of the Ancient Collective, the oldest being in known space. His people had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, their memories stretching back millions of years. Today, his normally calm demeanor showed cracks of deep concern that had not been seen in millennia. "Honored delegates," Kethvar's voice resonated through both sound and telepathic projection, reaching every consciousness present. "I bring urgent news from the Outer Rim territories. A new species has been discovered, one that matches descriptions from our most ancient warnings." A ripple of curiosity moved through the assembly. New species were discovered regularly as the Federation expanded, most proving harmless after initial contact protocols. The Zephyrian delegate, Wispera, pulsed with questioning colors. "Elder, surely any primitive species poses little concern to our advanced civilizations?" Kethvar's ancient eyes, each one having witnessed the birth of stars, fixed upon the Zephyrian. "This species calls itself humanity, and they are anything but primitive in the ways that matter most. Our scouts have observed them for 50 rotations now, and what we have learned troubles me deeply." The Krontak war chief Gortham laughed, a sound like grinding stone. "Troubles you? Elder, my people have conquered 12 star systems. What could one small species do to concern the mighty ancient collective?" The elder's expression darkened. "Chief Gortham, your people are indeed mighty warriors. You have fought with honor across the galaxy, following the ancient codes of combat. But humans, they do not follow codes. They do not fight with honor. They fight to survive, and in that desperation they become something we have not seen since the dark times." Delegate Silwatha of the Celestial Courts, her crystalline form refracting light into beautiful patterns, chimed softly. "Elder, you speak of the old warnings, the myths of the destroyer species, but those are legends, stories told to children about monsters that could never exist." Kethvar slowly raised one withered hand, and the chamber fell silent. With a gesture, he activated the central holographic display. Images began to flow across the space above them, scenes captured by long-range observation drones. The first image showed a blue-green world, beautiful and vibrant. This is their home world, which they call Earth. Notice the diversity of life, the complex ecosystems, a paradise world, one might think. The image shifted to show creatures moving across vast plains, swimming in deep oceans, flying through clear skies. For millions of their years, life on this world followed natural patterns. Evolution proceeded normally. The scene changed, showing primitive humanoids using simple tools. Then came humanity. Notice how quickly they spread across their world. The images flickered through time, showing the rapid expansion of human settlements, the growth of cities, the development of technology. In mere thousands of rotations, they went from simple tool use to spaceflight. This speed of advancement should have been impossible. Wispara pulsed with confused colors. "Rapid advancement is admirable, Elder. Why does this concern you?" The images shifted again, now showing conflicts between groups of humans. "Because of how they achieved this advancement. Look closely at their history." Scenes of warfare flashed across the display, But these were unlike the ritualized combats known to most galactic species. These showed desperate, brutal conflicts where humans used everything at their disposal to win. They do not fight for glory or territory alone. They fight for survival, for ideology, for resources. And in fighting, they learn. Gortham leaned forward, his massive frame casting shadows across the chamber. All species fight, Elder. This proves nothing. Observe their learning curve, Kethvar continued. The display showed human conflicts across their history, from simple clubs and spears to increasingly sophisticated weapons. Each war taught them new ways to kill, new strategies, new technologies. But more importantly, it taught them something far more dangerous. The images now showed humans working together despite obvious differences in appearance, culture, and beliefs. It taught them to adapt, to overcome any obstacle, no matter how impossible it seemed. Watch this sequence carefully. The display showed humans facing various challenges throughout their history. Plagues that should have destroyed their civilization, only to see them develop medicine and come back stronger. Natural disasters that leveled cities, only to see them rebuild with better designs. Ice ages that should have frozen them into extinction, only to see them learn to harness fire and create tools to survive. Each catastrophe that should have ended them only made them more resilient, Kethvar explained. And now they have discovered space travel. The final images showed human spacecraft, primitive by galactic standards but functional. More concerning were the images of human colonies spreading to multiple worlds, adapting to environments that should have been impossible to survive. Silwetha's crystalline form dimmed with worry. Elder, this is concerning, but surely our advanced civilizations could guide them, help them develop peacefully. Kethavar's expression became grave. That is exactly what the elders warned against in the ancient texts. The destroyer species cannot be guided or controlled because they do not think as we do. Watch this final sequence. The display showed recent observations of human behavior in space. Unlike other species that moved carefully, establishing proper protocols and seeking permission, humans simply explored. They went where they wanted, when they wanted, limited only by their technology. They have no concept of territorial boundaries as we understand them, Kethvar explained. They see empty space and believe it belongs to whoever can reach it first. They see resources and believe they have the right to take them. Most dangerously, they see other species not as potential threats or allies to be carefully evaluated, but as puzzles to be solved. The chamber erupted in surprised chatter. The concept was alien to most galactic species who had established complex diplomatic protocols over millions of years. Gorth Om's voice boomed over the noise. Then we stop them now before they become a threat. My fleet could cleanse their system within days. The elder's eyes flashed with something approaching anger. War Chief, that response proves you understand nothing about what we face. Every species that has ever tried to stop humanity through force has only made them stronger. They learn from every conflict, adapt to every weapon, and emerge more dangerous than before. Then what do you propose? Wispara asked, her gaseous form swirling with anxious patterns. Kethvar looked around the chamber, meeting the gaze of every delegate present. I propose we heed the ancient warnings. The elders spoke of a species like this, one that would either unite the galaxy in peace or consume it in chaos. They warned that such a species must never be underestimated, never be cornered, and never be given reason to see us as enemies. The Veiltar delegate, Thyrandus, who had remained silent throughout the presentation, finally spoke, their thoughts painting gentle pastels across their transparent skin. Elder, what you describe sounds like a force of nature rather than a civilization. How do we prepare for something like this? The ancient being's voice carried the weight of eons. We prepare by being better than they expect us to be. The humans are coming, whether we invite them or not. Our only choice is whether they come as friends seeking to learn from us, or as conquerors who see us as obstacles to their survival. Silence fell over the chamber as the implications sank in. Every delegate present represented a civilization that had dominated their region of space for thousands of years. The idea that everything could change because of one small species seemed impossible to accept. Gortham stood, his massive frame towering over even the elevated platforms. Elder, the Krontak have never retreated from any challenge. If these humans are as dangerous as you claim, then we should meet them with strength. Show them that the galaxy has guardians who will not yield. And what happens when they learn to counter your strength? Kethvar asked quietly. What happens when they develop weapons you cannot defend against, tactics you cannot predict, alliances you never imagined possible? Will you still speak of strength when your homeworld burns? The war chief's confidence wavered for the first time. Around the chamber, other delegates shifted uncomfortably as they began to grasp the true scope of what the elder was describing. Silwetha's crystalline voice rang with desperate hope. There must be another way. Perhaps we could establish first contact under controlled conditions, guide their development along peaceful paths. Kethvar nodded slowly. That may be our only hope. But understand this. Humanity will not be guided by us. They will make their own choices, follow their own path. All we can do is try to ensure that path leads to cooperation rather than conquest. The meeting continued for many hours, but as delegates filed out of the crystal chamber, most carried themselves with new uncertainty. The galaxy they had known, ordered and predictable, might soon face a force of change, unlike anything in recorded history. In the weeks that followed, some took Kethvar's warnings seriously, beginning preparations for first contact protocols and defensive measures. Others dismissed the concerns as the paranoid fantasies of an ancient mind. But in the Outer Rim territories, human exploration ships continued their relentless push into unknown space, each day bringing them closer to inhabited systems. The warnings had been given. The choice of how to respond now lay with each civilization. But as Kethvar had learned from studying the ancient texts, when it came to humanity, preparation was everything. Those who failed to prepare would learn too late why the elders had left such urgent warnings about the destroyer species that would one day emerge from the outer darkness. The galaxy was about to change forever, and most of its inhabitants had no idea what was coming. Captain Sarah Chen adjusted the neural interface connecting her to the exploration vessel Horizon's Edge, feeling the ship's sensors extend her awareness into the vast emptiness of space. 3 months out from Earth's newest colony on Kepler 442b, her crew had detected something that changed everything. Organized radio signals from a star system 20 light-years ahead. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Rodriguez from the communications station. "We're getting structured patterns in those signals. This isn't natural phenomenon. Someone's out there." Chen nodded, trying to keep her expression neutral despite the excitement building in her chest. Humanity's first contact with alien intelligence, the moment their species had dreamed about for centuries. "Any luck decoding the transmissions?" "Dr. Patel thinks she's found mathematical progressions in the signal patterns," Rodriguez replied. "Basic stuff at first, prime numbers, then more complex equations." "Whoever's sending these is trying to establish communication protocols." The captain stood and walked to the main view screen, staring at the distant star that harbored their first alien neighbors. Behind her, the bridge crew of 30 worked with quiet efficiency, each one aware they were making history. The Horizon's Edge represented the best of human engineering, adaptive systems that could be reconfigured for any situation, redundant backups for every critical system, and a crew trained to handle the impossible. "Dr. Blackwood, what's your assessment?" Chen asked the ship's xenobiologist. The elderly scientist looked up from his analysis station, excitement clear in his weathered features. Captain, the complexity of these signals suggests a highly advanced civilization. The mathematical concepts they're using are sophisticated, but not beyond our understanding. They're being careful to communicate in universal constants. Recommendation? We should respond. This is exactly the scenario we've prepared for. Gradual contact, mathematical communication to establish intelligence, then slowly build toward more complex exchanges. Chen considered this for a moment. Human first contact protocols had been developed by the best minds Earth could offer, refined through decades of theoretical work and countless simulations. They emphasized caution, patience, and careful steps to avoid misunderstanding. Send the response sequence, she ordered. Prime numbers first, then the Fibonacci sequence. Let's see how they react. The transmission went out at light speed, carrying humanity's first deliberate message to another intelligent species. The crew settled in to wait for a response that would take years to reach them, except the response came in less than an hour. "Captain!" Rodriguez called out, his voice tight with confusion. "They're responding, but that's impossible. The signal lag should be—" "I know what the signal lag should be, Lieutenant. Play the response." The mathematical sequences that came back were not just acknowledgments of their transmission. They were improvements. The aliens had taken humanity's basic mathematical progression and enhanced it, adding layers of complexity that demonstrated understanding far beyond what the original message conveyed. Dr. Blackwood frowned at his readings. "Captain, they're not just responding to our message. They're showing us better ways to structure the mathematical concepts we sent them. It's like we sent them a child's drawing and they sent back a masterpiece using the same crayons." Chen felt a chill run down her spine. "Are you saying they're more advanced than we thought?" "I'm saying they're so far ahead of us that our attempt at communication is probably amusing to them," Blackwood replied grimly. "But, Captain, there's something else. These aren't random improvements. They're teaching us. Each modification shows us a more efficient way to express mathematical concepts. They're trying to educate us." The implications hit the bridge crew like a physical blow. Humanity had assumed they would be roughly equal to any aliens they encountered, perhaps slightly behind in some technologies, ahead in others. The possibility that they might be dealing with a vastly superior civilization had been discussed, but never seriously considered. "Captain," Rodriguez interrupted, "we're receiving a new transmission, much more complex. Dr. Patel says it looks like star charts." The main screen lit up with three-dimensional representations of nearby star systems. But these weren't simple maps. They showed the positions of planets, the composition of atmospheres, the presence or absence of life. Most shocking of all, they showed the human colonies, marked clearly and accurately. "They know about us," Chen said quietly. "They've been watching us." Dr. Blackwood's face had gone pale. "Captain, look at this data. They're not just showing us local systems. This chart extends for hundreds of light years in every direction. They're mapping civilizations." The display zoomed in to show symbols marking different star systems. Each symbol was unique, clearly representing different species or civilizations. Humanity's colonies were marked with a distinctive symbol that matched nothing else on the chart. "How many?" Chen asked. Blackwood quickly counted the marked systems. "Dozens, maybe hundreds. Captain, we're not the first. We're not even close to the first." The bridge fell silent as this revelation sank in. Humanity had spent centuries wondering if they were alone in the universe, only to discover they were newcomers to a galaxy already teeming with intelligent life. Another transmission arrived, this one accompanied by what could only be described as an invitation. The star charts highlighted a path from humanity's position to the system they were approaching, marked clearly as a meeting point. "They want us to come to them," Chen observed. "Captain," Lieutenant Rodriguez said carefully, Shouldn't we report back to Earth? Get instructions from command? Chen considered this. Following protocol would mean turning around, racing back to human space, and spending years in committee meetings while politicians and scientists debated how to proceed. By the time they returned, the aliens might have moved on, or worse, lost interest in communication. No, she decided. We're 3 months out from the nearest human colony and years from Earth. By the time we could get instructions and return, this opportunity might be lost forever. We continue forward. Dr. Blackwood looked nervous. Captain, we have no idea what we're flying into. These aliens are clearly far more advanced than us. What if they're hostile? Then we'll deal with that when it happens, Chen replied. But look at their behavior so far. They're being careful, educational, patient. They could have destroyed us the moment we entered their sensor range, but instead they're teaching us mathematics. That suggests peaceful intentions. The journey to the alien system took 2 more months, during which the Horizon's Edge received increasingly complex transmissions. The aliens taught them new mathematical concepts, shared basic scientific principles, and even provided improved designs for human technology. By the time they reached the meeting point, humanity's ship had been upgraded with alien improvements that doubled their efficiency and power output. Captain, Rodriguez called out as they entered the outer edge of the alien system. We're being scanned. Multiple sources, technologies I don't recognize. Any aggressive actions? No, ma'am. It feels more like medical scans. They're being very thorough, but not intrusive. The main screen flickered and suddenly showed the interior of an alien ship. The being looking back at them was tall, elegant, with features that seemed carved from living crystal. When it spoke, the words were translated in real time through their communication system. Greetings, humans of the ship Horizon's Edge. I am Silwetha of the Celestial Courts, speaking for the Galactic Federation. We have been expecting you. Captain Chen stepped forward, feeling the weight of representing all of humanity. Greetings, Silwetha. I am Captain Sarah Chen. We didn't know anyone was expecting us. The alien's crystalline features shifted in what might have been a smile. Your species has been observed since you first achieved spaceflight. We have been preparing for this meeting for many years. Observed? By who? The Galactic Federation consists of thousands of species across this region of space. We maintain watch over developing civilizations to ensure peaceful first contact when they reach sufficient technological development. Chen felt both relief and concern. Relief that these aliens seemed peaceful, concern about the implications of being watched without their knowledge. And you've determined we've reached sufficient development? Silwetha's expression became more serious. Captain Chen, your species presents unique challenges. We have encountered many developing civilizations over the millennia. Most follow predictable patterns of growth, cautious expansion, and gradual technological development. Humanity does none of these things. I'm not sure I understand. In the time we have been observing you, humanity has achieved technological advancement at a rate that should be impossible. You have colonized multiple worlds, despite having no contact with other species. Most concerning of all, you have done this while maintaining constant warfare among yourselves. Chen felt defensive. We've mostly moved past global conflicts. The colony wars ended decades ago. Yes, we observed those as well. Captain, do you understand what makes your species unusual? Most civilizations achieve peace before they achieve significant space travel. They establish stable governments, unified planetary rule, and careful expansion protocols. Humanity achieved interstellar travel while still fighting over territorial boundaries. The implications of this were starting to become clear. You think we're dangerous. We think you're unpredictable, Silwetha corrected. Your species' response to challenges is unlike anything in our records. When faced with obstacles, most species either find ways around them or accept limitations. Humans appear to view obstacles as problems to be solved, regardless of cost or consequence. Chen found herself oddly proud of this assessment. Is that necessarily a bad thing? That remains to be seen. Captain Chen, we would like to invite you to meet with representatives of the Galactic Federation. There are those who believe humanity could be a valuable addition to galactic civilization. Others are concerned about the disruption your species might cause. And you? What do you think? Silwetha's crystalline form refracted light in complex patterns. I think humanity is about to change the galaxy in ways none of us can predict. The question is whether that change will be for the better. As the Horizon's Edge followed alien escort ships toward the Federation meeting point, Captain Chen realized that humanity's greatest challenge wasn't technological development or space exploration. It was proving to an ancient galactic civilization that the newcomers from Earth could be trusted with the power they seemed destined to wield. The first meeting between humanity and galactic civilization was about to begin, and the outcome would determine whether humans would be welcomed as allies or contained as a threat. Either way, as Silwetha had observed, the galaxy was about to change forever. The Federation Station Harmony stretched across 50 kilometers of space, a testament to millions of years of cooperative engineering. As Captain Chen's shuttle approached the docking bay, she could see representatives from dozens of species moving through transparent corridors that crisscrossed the massive structure. The Horizon's Edge had been given permission to dock, but only after extensive scanning and the assignment of 6 escort vessels that hadn't left their side for 3 days. "Nervous, Captain?" asked Dr. Blackwood, who had been chosen to accompany her to the formal first contact meeting. "Terrified," Chen admitted. "We're about to walk into a room where humanity is being judged by civilizations that are thousands of years older than us. The decisions made today could determine whether humans have a future in galactic society." The shuttle docked with a soft vibration, and Chen took a deep breath as the airlock cycled. Whatever happened in the next few hours would echo through human history forever. The reception chamber was breathtaking. The walls were made of some transparent material that showed the stars beyond, while gravity manipulation allowed beings from different worlds to stand or float in their preferred orientations. At the center of the room, arranged in a complex pattern, were the representatives of major Federation species. Silwetha glided forward to greet them, her crystalline form catching light from multiple sources. "Captain Chen, Dr. Blackwood, welcome to Station Harmony. Allow me to introduce you to the Federation Council." The introductions took nearly an hour. The Zephyrians, beings of living gas contained in energy fields, the massive Krontak, whose stone-like bodies bore the scars of countless battles, the ethereal Veiltar, whose thoughts painted colors across their translucent skin. And at the center, Elder Kethvar of the Ancient Collective, whose age was measured in millions of years. "Humans of Earth," the Elder's voice resonated through both sound and direct mental contact. "You are welcome here. We have gathered to discuss your species' place in galactic civilization." Chen stepped forward, feeling the weight of representing all humanity. "Elder Kethvar, we're honored by this opportunity. Humanity seeks peaceful coexistence with all intelligent species." War Chief Gortham of the Krontak shifted his massive bulk, stone grinding against stone. "Pretty words, human, but your actions speak differently. We have observed your colonial expansion. You take what you want without asking permission." Chen felt a flash of anger but controlled it. "Chief Gortham, we've only colonized uninhabited worlds. We've been careful not to interfere with existing ecosystems or cultures." "Because you didn't know we existed," the Krontak rumbled. "What happens now that you do? Will humanity still respect boundaries when you know the galaxy is already claimed?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. Chen realized this was the heart of the Federation's concern. They weren't afraid of humanity's current capabilities, but of what humans might do as they grew more powerful. Elder Kethvar raised a withered hand. Let us examine the evidence of human behavior. In your brief time in space, you have established 47 colonies across 13 star systems. This expansion rate exceeds that of any species in our records. Dr. Blackwood spoke up. Elder, humanity's rapid expansion is driven by necessity. Our home world is reaching the limits of its ability to support our population. We expand to survive, not to conquer. And yet, said Wispaara of the Zephyrians, her gaseous form shifting colors to indicate concern, your expansion follows no established protocols. You send out multiple colony ships simultaneously, establish settlements before proper surveys are complete, and adapt to hostile environments rather than seeking more suitable worlds. Chen nodded. That's true. We've learned to make do with what's available rather than wait for perfect conditions. This troubles us, admitted Delegate Therandis of the Veiltar, their thoughts painting worried purple patterns across their transparent body. Most species expand carefully, methodically, over thousands of years. You seem to view expansion as an urgent race against time. Elder Kethavar's ancient eyes fixed on Chen. Captain, help us understand. Why does humanity feel such urgency to spread across the stars? Chen considered the question carefully. Elder, humanity has faced extinction multiple times in our history. Ice ages, volcanic disasters, plagues, wars. We've learned that survival depends on not putting all our resources in one place. The more worlds we inhabit, the safer our species becomes. But this approach has consequences, Silwetha observed. Rapid expansion strains resources, creates territorial disputes, and leads to conflict. The Federation has maintained peace for over 1,000,000 years by establishing clear boundaries and expansion protocols. And those protocols work for species that have time, Chen replied. But what happens when a crisis emerges that requires immediate action? What if waiting for proper approvals means disaster? Gorth Am laughed, a sound like grinding boulders. Human, you speak as if the galaxy is full of urgent threats. The Federation has maintained stability for eons. What crisis could possibly require such haste? Before Chen could answer, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Emergency lighting bathed the chamber in red, and holographic displays appeared showing the outer system. All vessels to battle stations, came an announcement across the station's communications system. Hostile fleet detected approaching from Vector 77 Mark IV. Unknown configuration. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. The chamber erupted in controlled chaos as representatives began coordinating their responses. Chen watched in fascination as the Federation's command structure revealed itself. Each species contributed according to their strengths. Zephyrians handled communications, Krontak managed defensive systems, Celestial Courts coordinated fleet movements. Elder Kethvar's voice cut through the noise. Analysis reports indicate 15 ships of unknown configuration. Technology appears to be based on quantum manipulation, but with design elements we don't recognize. Silwetha's crystalline form darkened with concern. Elder, no species in our records uses quantum manipulation for ship construction. Who are they? Unknown. They're not responding to any communication attempts. Their approach vector suggests aggressive intent. Chen felt something click in her mind. This was exactly the kind of situation humans had spent centuries preparing for. Elder, permission to speak? The ancient being looked at her with surprise. Captain, this is not your concern. You may return to your ship and depart if you wish. The Federation will handle this crisis. With respect, Elder, I'd like to help. My species has experience with unexpected threats. Gortham's laughter was grim. Human, these could be ships with technology beyond your comprehension. What could your single vessel possibly contribute? Chen smiled, and something in that expression made several Federation representatives step back. Chief, you're thinking about this wrong. You're asking what one human ship can do. That's not the right question. Then what is? The right question is, what can humans do when everything depends on it? Elder Kethvar studied her carefully. Explain. Your Federation has maintained peace for 1,000,000 years through careful protocols and established procedures. That's admirable, but it means you've never had to innovate under pressure. Humanity has been doing exactly that for our entire history. The display's updated, showing the unknown ships continuing their approach. Their configuration was unlike anything in Federation databases, sleek vessels that seemed to bend light around themselves. Captain Chen, Silwetha said urgently, these ships are using stealth technology we can't counter. Our sensors can barely track them. In 4 hours, they'll be within weapons range of the station. Chen turned to Dr. Blackwood. Doctor, you studied their approach pattern. What do you think? Blackwood pulled up his analysis on a portable display. Captain, they're coming in fast, but not efficiently. Their stealth systems are impressive, but they're using a lot of power. I think they're designed for short, overwhelming attacks. Chen nodded and turned back to the Federation representatives. Elder Kethvar, your defenses are designed to stop known threats using established tactics. What happens when someone throws out the rulebook? What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that maybe it's time to try something completely different. Something unpredictable. Something human. The Elder's expression was unreadable. You have a plan? The beginning of one. But I'll need access to your station schematics, your defensive systems, and about a dozen volunteers who don't mind ignoring safety protocols. Gortham stepped forward. Human, you're talking about improvising a defense against unknown enemies in less than 4 hours. That's impossible. Chen's smile widened. Chief, impossible is just another word for, we haven't figured it out yet. Trust me, humanity has a lot of experience making the impossible work. What followed was 4 hours of frantic activity that violated every Federation safety protocol ever written. Chen's plan was audacious to the point of insanity. Use the station's industrial fabricators to create makeshift weapons, modify civilian ships into combat vessels, and coordinate and defense using tactics that existed nowhere in Federation doctrine. The Krontak war chief found himself working alongside human engineers to build kinetic impactors from mining equipment. Zephyrian scientists collaborated with Dr. Blackwood to develop sensor techniques that could track stealth vessels. Celestial Court technicians helped human specialists rewire power systems to support weapons that had been designed in the last 3 hours. This is madness, Gortham muttered as he helped install human-designed weapons on Federation ships. None of this should work. The power requirements alone should cause system failures. Chief, Chen called from across the hangar where she was personally rewiring a courier ship's engine systems. It doesn't have to work well. It just has to work long enough. When the unknown ships finally attacked, they encountered a defense that followed no established pattern. Station Harmony didn't respond with careful formations and coordinated fire patterns. Instead, every ship moved independently, using improvised weapons and tactics that changed from moment to moment. The attackers' stealth technology, designed to counter predictable Federation sensors, failed against jury-rigged detection systems that used completely different principles. Their sophisticated targeting systems couldn't lock onto ships that were flying in patterns no sane pilot would attempt. The battle lasted 40 minutes. When it was over, the attackers' survivors retreated in confusion, having encountered a defense that made no sense according to any military doctrine they understood. In the aftermath, as Federation crews worked to assess the damage, Elder Kethvar found Captain Chen sitting in the observation lounge, staring out at the stars. "Your strategy worked," the Elder said simply. "This time," Chen replied, "against this enemy. Next time we'll face different challenges and need different solutions." Kethvar settled beside her, his ancient frame moving with careful grace. Captain Chen, your species has taught us something important today. We have spent so long maintaining stability that we forgot how to adapt to real change. And what have you decided about humanity's place in the Federation? The elder was quiet for a long moment. We have decided that perhaps it's time for the Federation to change as well. Your species brings chaos, yes, but also innovation. Unpredictability, but also adaptability. We have survived for millions of years by avoiding risks. Perhaps it's time we learn to manage them instead. Chen smiled. Does this mean humanity is welcome in galactic civilization? Captain, after today, I believe galactic civilization needs humanity more than humanity needs us. The galaxy is vast and full of unknown threats. Having a species that specializes in doing the impossible might be exactly what we need to survive whatever comes next. As Chen looked out at the stars, she realized that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their courage. It was their refusal to accept that anything was truly impossible. In a galaxy full of ancient, stable civilizations, that might be the most valuable gift they could offer. The elders had warned about humanity, calling them a destroyer species that would change everything they touched. Looking at the Federation representatives working alongside human engineers to rebuild their defenses with new adaptive designs, Chen realized the elders had been right. Humanity would indeed destroy the galaxy as it had existed for millions of years, and in its place, they would help build something better. Something stronger, something that could adapt to any challenge the universe might throw at them. The warnings had been given, the first contact had been made, and the galaxy would never be the same. But as Elder Kethvar had realized, perhaps that was exactly what the galaxy needed. Sometimes, to survive and grow, everything must change. And if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was thriving in times of change. The age of careful stability was ending. The age of adaptive cooperation was about to begin, and at the center of it all, a small species from a blue world would help guide ancient civilizations toward a future none of them could have imagined alone.